Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2. I do thank you for tuning in, and peace and blessings be upon you and your family this evening. Now we are going to get right back into, for men only, we are in chapter number 6. With sex, her no doesn't mean you. And this is take number 2. And it goes like this. So, if it's not about me, 5 truths, 5 of them, about women and sex. Chpt and I want to relay what women around the country told us about their sexual wiring and what they want to give and get from their man. These 5 revelations, should you choose to believe them, have the potential to radically improve this area of your marriage. Truth number 1. She has a lower sex drive than you. And she'd change that fact if she could. Physiological fact number 1. Experts explain that the average woman simply has less testosterone and other sexual assertive hormones than the average man, and therefore has less of an urge to pursue sex. This doesn't mean she doesn't want it or won't enjoy it once it's happening, but just that seeking it out isn't usually on her mind. This doesn't mean she doesn't want it or won't enjoy it once it's happening, but seeking it out isn't usually on her mind. Most men know this fact, but physiological fact number 2, we forget it on a regular basis. Like every evening. We forget because we can't really feel the truth of it, especially when she says or implies no. The minute we show sexual interest, admit it. Analysis of physiological differences is not where your mind goes following another non-encounter. So let's step back and look at some implications of her physiology. Lower level of sexual assertive hormones equals less craving for sex. Not no craving, mind you, just less. It's a fact, and we need to stop assuming, it has something to do with us. As several experts explain, this is a complex issue, but it boils down to the fact that there are actually 2 different types of desire. When men have more testosterone type hormones linked to assertiveness, sexual desire, women have more estrogen, which is tied to what is called receptive sexual desire, which means that they tend to be available, but simply don't have as much craving to pursue it. And recent studies have shown that a common form of birth control, the pill, can reduce libido even further. It doesn't help that movies, television shows, and advertisements seem to imply that all women would be sexually charged bimbo wannabes if you were just enough of a stud. On the survey, when we asked women what they most wish their husbands understood, one wife put it this way: I want him to know I don't love him less just because my sex drive isn't as strong as his. Lower level of sexual assertive hormones equal less likely to initiate sex. As one book put it, receptive doesn't necessarily mean passive, but available, and perhaps willing, but without the initiative. Related to this, we received a fascinating email not long ago from a man whose wife had read Chpt's book, For Women Only. My wife then explained to me that she simply has no physical drive to pursue sex. When we are having sex, she says that she loves it. The problem is that otherwise, sex just never occurs to her, whereas there is never a time when it does not occur to me. Thankfully, after reading For Women Only, my wife understood how important sex really is to me and has even began to initiate sex. She does it because she wants to show that she loves me. It works. In one focus group, a woman said this: I just don't feel that drive to go after physical pleasure as often. For me, it's about once every 10 days that I'm the one looking for the physical pleasure. The other times are because he needs it. And from my standpoint, it's time to be together. It's uninterrupted time. It's a way to have his undivided attention. Not that it's not physically great once we get started. It is. It's just that for me, there's usually not the drive to start. Lower level of sexual assertive hormones equal more susceptibility to non-sexual distractions, like a noise from the kids' room, like a headache, like stress or leftover thoughts from the day, like exhaustion. She's not making it up. In relation to her lower sex drive, she's more sensitive to hindrances and feels them more intensely than you or I would. As one woman said, for guys, it seems sex provides relief or escape from exhaustion. For women, we have to pull ourselves out of exhaustion in order to want to have sex. She's more sensitive to hindrances and feels them more intensely than you or I would. But there's reassuring news, too. Not only is a woman in your life not making up the hindrances to sex she experiences, she would really change her sexual responsiveness if she could. Look at the data. Answered by women who said they wanted less sex than their husbands. If you could magically change your sex drive, and are some of the reasons you don't want sex as much as your husband does, would you? Choose one answer. yes, 82%. No, 18%. You can see that more than 8 out of 10 wives would prefer to want sex as much as their husbands, if they could. And among happily married women, that desire was almost 100%. Truth number 2. She needs more warm-up time than you. A guy's sexual motor is pretty much always running. Pop the clutch and go. Not so for a woman. But once her sexual motor is warmed up and running, she is fine and raring to go, just like we are. One respondent told us, I wish my husband would understand that as much as I love to be intimate with him, there are times when it takes a long time to get me there. I have been busy running after kids all day, cleaning, cooking, etc. Sex also helps me to unwind, but I need a little help. He seems to think that just because he is ready and set, I should be too. He gets frustrated because I do not seem like I am enjoying him. But if he would just take his time, we would both enjoy the experience more. Another woman provided a great word picture. It's not that I don't want to make love, but at the end of a long day with 4 kids, my mind is set on a course like a cruise ship headed for port. Port being the quiet bit of space a mom anticipates when the kids are asleep. The chores done, and the house quiet. And just as I'm within sight of that port, my hubby rolls over and says, "What you doing over there?" It's not that I don't want to be with him, but mentally, it's like trying to stop a cruise ship that's going full stream ahead and making it turn on a dime. I can't quite turn off the day and do an about face in a blink of an eye like he can. Many other women echoed what one said, she most wished her husband knew. How much I truly and deeply love him, but my body just doesn't have the same sexual drive as his until we are engaged in the act. Then I'm very into it. The very into it part is great news. But to get there, what this means in practice is one or two things. Either one, she needs you to take it slow, to give her brain a chance to catch up. Or even better, number 2, she needs some anticipation time. Either she needs you to take it slow, or she needs some anticipation time. I know us guys think that if we were desirable enough, sex would just be spontaneous because our wife couldn't keep her hands off us. But remember, her engine, her engine isn't warmed up yet. Look at the anticipation example one woman shared. My husband and I don't get too many nights alone, but we carved out a dinner date one night, and while we were having dinner, he whispered in my ear, "I can't wait to get home and have my dessert." I knew the dessert was me. And I don't think I've ever eaten so fast in my life. I couldn't wait to get home. That does complete truth number 2. Stay tuned for truth number 3 all the way up to the 5 truths. Now for truth number 3, I'll give you a preview. It is your body, no matter how much of a stud you are, does not by itself turn on her body. So until next time, I want you to be well, take care. It be it thy will. I will talk with you soon here on Poem Praise 2. So until next time, later y'all.